And at the time, I was wrestling at the Sportatorium in Tampa on Thursday nights once a week for like 35, $40.
One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Though. Where did you get so I find it really cool though because like you had that mentality like work less, make more money. But like you started off too as a fan of wrestling, getting into it. So was there a certain point that you were able to think like that? Be like, yeah, I like what I do, but I would like to work less and make more money. What gave you that money mindset more so, where you made it look more of as a job than you did as the fan aspect of it all?
Right, right. I don't know. That might be something I might have to hit you with next week after like
Yeah.
really going down memory lane. If there was a certain story or did I hear somebody advise that at one time? Because right now I can't remember. I remember 92, 93, more work, 94, 95, more work, more work, more work. Uh, 96. Uh, in 96, I still wanted to work more, but I was something happened in 96, I think. Uh, but I do know that like when I was wrestling in Japan, and I've said this a lot, but they paid me really well on a comparative schedule to what I was getting doing the indies. So first time I go to Japan was 93, February of 93. And at the time, I was wrestling at the Sportatorium in Tampa on Thursday nights once a week for like 35, $40.
Wow.
Uh, Also, though, by the time the trip actually happened, I was in WCW. In WCW, I was making $150 a match.
Hmm.
Although, if it was TV, they would dock $50. So $100 for the TV match, and then 150 for 2 or 3 house shows later. That's a lot of work already. Being on that grind, doing four days, a fifth day to get back home. Um, that's already quite a bit of a grind for making that kind of money. And you know what? I didn't know that they were paying for like my hotels and stuff until they told me they stopped. So I was paying for that, a lot of that stuff. And like, um, what was I going to say about that? So anyway, $150 at the most in a match, other 135, whatever. I go to Japan and they pay you on a weekly deal. And my first trip when I started there, making this kind of money, was I believe $2,000. I believe that's what they started me on a week. And that meant,
Wow.
yeah, 4 or 5 matches, could be 7, but it wasn't 7. We usually had at least one day off a week. And then they started me on that. So then I started automatically through experience realizing, wait a minute, I can work my balls off, like every weekend, every week of the month. All right, let's say I do 3 or 4 matches a week, and I'm doing that 3 or 4 times a month. So now I don't know, 12, 16 matches every single month. I'm making this much money, and boom, boom, boom. Or I can go to Japan for 2 weeks, come back with this pocket full of cash and not have to work for 6 months. Back
Right.
then, that money went really far. I had a cockroach infested apartment, that was like $400 a month. And then I could just pick and choose, my bookings. So if they weren't offering me enough, or I didn't really want to work for that guy, or whatever reason, I was like, I'm gonna go back to Japan for a 3 weeker in June. So I'm good till then. And so maybe just experience taught me that was better.
Yeah, maybe because I was thinking, like, I was like, where would Rob miss? just kind of assumed in my head, like maybe the Sheik taught you that, or maybe Sabu in some way taught you that. But then, like, I started when you were talking, I was like, well, maybe like him being around like somebody like Stan Hansen who made like a killing in Japan,
He
had
did.
something to do. But that makes sense. Yeah, you being in Japan and making that kind of bank, that probably
Yeah.
set a good foundation for your thought process
And
moving
after
forward.
being in Japan, like I like the 2 weeker because that's in February every year,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was my favorite. The longest one is it was in November. It's a tag team tournament that's 5 weeks, and then the other ones are in between. If you were full time back then, I think it was 8 trips a year. But when I would come back home, I would be so tired, man. It would take me like a week to kick off the jet lag. Horrible feeling, but I got to where I found that the other guys, they're making a little more than me when I started out. I was the greenest guy, but the other guys that were working regularly for All Japan, they wouldn't really do too many indie shots, if at all, in between, because one, they wouldn't have to, two, they were tired, and three, man, sometimes it's nice to just be like, boom, I'm off till October 10th, and then I got to go back over there. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Take your breather and enjoy your time off, and then go back and do some work over there for a little bit. It's like,
Yeah. Instead of
yeah,
grinding and hustling and working with shady promoters or whatever the options are, you know?
right, right. Hey, hey, it's Dominic D'Angelo of RVDTV.com, one of a kind with RVD, and there's one of a kind deodorant you should be using, and that is Mando. Yes, I was just at an independent wrestling show, IWC, in Pittsburgh here, and I remember just sweating. I was sweating like crazy. It wasn't crazy hot, but I was sweating enough to know, hey, I need a little Mando. Thankfully, my brother, he had an extra stick in his duffel bag, and I was happy to have it. And you're going to be happy to have it here too. My favorite is the Mount Fuji, but I also really like the bourbon leather. And this is the bourbon leather right here. An expert tip, I stick this baby in the fridge, and right before I go out, boom, I slap this on. Feel great, and you feel confident too, and you smell great too. Another great product here is the deodorant spray. This is the Mount Fuji deodorant spray, and I tell you what, whenever you're really, really in a tight spot and you feel like you need a little spray down here, this is perfect to get out there, get going, and not worry about what your musk is out and about. So we at RVDTV.com, at One of a Kind with RVD, have a special deal for our listeners. That is correct. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, this right here, cream tube deodorant as well, and then 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes. I also recommend the deodorant wipes. Those are great too. Plus, you get free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code RVD at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that One of a Kind with RVD sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness.